Let's talk to our good friend from Husker 24/7, Mike Scheafer, who joins us now. Morning, Scheafer.
Morning, guys. Sorry about that.
Oh, you're fine. How was Vegas? How was the bank account?
Vegas was good. Day one, we were probably up a little bit on the day. Day two, definitely not up at all. Very, very, very down. But when you lose every sports bet you make over a 40-some-hour period, that's going to happen. When the dealer can run 6 cards to a 21, starting with 2 showing, that'll happen. You're sitting on a 19 the first time and a 20 the second. It's just not going to be your day. So, Monday wasn't kind, but the trip overall was great.
That's a Vegas press conference from head coach Mike Scheafer. we're gonna get the. Hey, by the way, Scheafer, it's McMaster. It's great to talk to you again.
Hey, look at that! They allowed you back in the state.
I know. I mean, I can't believe it. I'm pretty sure there are a couple warrants out, but we've been able to duck the head and get on the radio. But
I figured you'd be wherever Justin Fields is and singing his praises.
Hey, top rope, nice. There was a little fall. Yeah,
that was a Randy Savage. What'd you say?
Do you want to say anything about the Vikings?
Man,
tell me how well they're playing this year?
What a head coach you guys got. What I would do, I not a joke. I'm not kidding you, Shave. I'd cut off my left pinky to have your coach as my head coach.
Well, I certainly hope Kevin O'Connell doesn't leave Minnesota for Chicago, but
he's the best coach in the league right now. I have nothing. Hey, you know me. I'm a respectful human. I have nothing but respectful things to say about you and your team and how great you guys are. The best team in the league right now, and I want to congratulate you on that because there haven't been a lot of times for you to cheer, and now you
I knew
get
there was
to.
going to be a but. Good job.
No, I'm being as nice as I possibly can be right now.
Well, no, when I tell anyone about you, I always say, just a respectful human being. That's how I describe you.
Thank you. And I feel like the listeners here at 1620, after me spending the last 8 hours with Gary, couldn't agree more with that sentiment.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
What does your win by your favorite baseball team mean yesterday for tomorrow?
It prolongs the agony a little bit, but you never want your season to just end. So I'll take the extra 2 days, and maybe they get the opportunity for yet another postseason classic with the Yankees. I'm thinking through it. Cleveland has played the Yankees in more playoff series than any other team in my lifetime. I think they've won only 2 of the 6 times they've met. So wouldn't mind getting another crack there, but they got to get through the best pitcher in baseball. And, he had some choice words for the Cleveland fans on Sunday. So we'll see how the crowd responds in kind on Saturday in a must-win game, the biggest game that any of the Tigers have ever played in after blowing yesterday's game. I would say all the pressure is on Detroit.
Hey, last night in Kansas City, Blue Valley High School in Overland Park, really good team. There was a lot of attention on that game. There were a lot of college schools that were represented that are out of the Power 4, including Matt Rule and Rob Dvorak in to see Dawson Merritt play last night in the Kansas City area. The importance of those two showing up, and where do we stand right now with somebody who committed to Alabama and then came to Nebraska, and it's kind of been quiet?
Yeah, I think Nebraska just has to give him enough confidence that they can play on a big stage. I think that's why he chose Alabama. Everything else pointed to Nebraska. His family wants him at Nebraska. I don't think that's wouldn't even call it an open secret. I think that's just out there. I think the Alabama coaches know that as well. And so they're spending probably more time trying to recruit the family than they are Dawson specifically. But the biggest thing I think Dawson wants is he wants to play on a big stage. And so, Nebraska has to prove they have to go beat teams like Indiana, which sounds weird. You're talking about a big stage and I'm talking about Indiana football, but Nebraska has to go and win these kind of games and then play with Ohio State, not lose 62-3 and have your quarterback run back onto the field after a visit to the hospital. I mean, so you need Nebraska to show up in a way that it really hasn't for most of Dawson Merritt's life to give him a reason to think, okay, this is where I want to play. Because right now he has the opportunity to go to Alabama, and they lost to Vanderbilt, but they also went and beat Georgia. Every game Alabama plays is a big game. every game Nebraska plays, the people in Nebraska is a big game, but nationally it hasn't been a big game or hasn't been a big game team in a long time. I think if they can make themselves part of the conversation at some point this year, Dawson Merritt will very, very, very entertain a flip. Like I said, I think his family wants him here. I think he has a great relationship with Nebraska staff. I just think he wants to play big-time football, and Nebraska has to prove that they're there. And right now, they're close. They're closer than they have been in a while, but they're not there. And if they can get there, I think they can get Dawson Merritt.
Mike, we'll go from a specific recruit question to, I guess, more of a macro question. Last year, we know that Matt Rule said he doesn't necessarily have a pitch for recruits, but the message was, hey, we're building something here. Hey, we're going to develop you. You could be the start of something successful. You can be a part of the foundation of bringing back Nebraska to where it once was. Now that this team has had early season success, now that they're 5-1 and the fruits of that labor are kind of coming to fruition, is there a change in their pitch a little bit? Is there a different thing that they're now selling to recruits? Is there a, hey, now look at the results we're getting very early on, or do you think that the message is still the same from a year ago?
I think a lot of it is about their culture, their process, the fact that these results have come, for them in year two, and then they're not shy about pointing out who their quarterback is, because I think a lot of it is, we built this culture, we have this process, we trust our coaches, we have these, older players believing we're playing young guys. We got Carter Nelson and Ja'Cory Barney on the field. We got Vincent Shavers and Willis McGahee, wreaking havoc as linebackers. We got other young guys that we're going to start deploying too. But, oh, yeah, we got this quarterback. You might have heard of him. He's going to be here for at least a couple more years. Don't you want to be a part of that?
Mm-hmm.
I think a big part of what they're doing is they're selling the culture and what Matt Rule has kind of put together. And they're going to continue to sell that aspect while also pointing out they've got a lot of things that are trending in the right direction. Nebraska's going to continue to make their push, and they're going to continue to make their pitch. And I think that it's going to be well received.
I'm going to pose this question to you, and you can give me a position group, an aspect, a certain player, a particular coach. Fill in the blank. You can give me 3, 4, or less than 3. Nebraska wouldn't be 5-1 without blank.
Well, certainly Dylan Raiola, so I'll give you that one. But then I don't know if they're 5-1 without John Bullock right now. I think that how he has played has been fantastic for this defense. I don't think they're 5-1 without Tony White. And I don't know that they're 5-1 without guys like Ja'Cory Barney either. And he's, he doesn't have the most yardage, but you have to think about him in a way that they don't really have a lot of other guys right now on their roster. I think, we're talking about Dawson Merritt and the pitch to him, but I think the big thing is you can go get a Michael Terry, you can flip a Corey Sims, you hold an Isaiah Mosey. They need more playmakers on offense. I think that's pretty evident. And for this offense to continue to grow and evolve, they want to go in that direction.
Mike, looking at now Indiana, you talk about the significance of this and of this game. If they win this game, is this, in terms of getting recruits, probably the biggest win that they'll have in terms of flipping these guys? You think that winning a game against Indiana on the road will do a lot in towards, getting these guys that they need to be the program they eventually want to be?
I think it'll help. I know that what they have moving forward after Indiana, you have opportunities against USC and Ohio State to get some name brand wins. So those could certainly help too. But you think about it, you go get a win against Indiana, who's currently undefeated. You go get a win on the road against Indiana, move yourself to 6 wins. So you've eliminated this bowl thing. You go get a win against Indiana, and they have some buzz about them, so it's a ranked win on top of it. Yeah, I think it's a huge deal. I don't think it'll be Nebraska's biggest win, by the end of the season. I think Nebraska's going to go beat Indiana, but I think they have a bigger pelt out there that they can go, attach to their wall too. And that's not, Tom Allen, that's not just disrespecting your former program here. Your former AD. It's nothing against Indiana. It's just that I think Nebraska has bigger and better results out there for it. I don't think we've seen this team at their best.
Yeah.
And that's what's fascinating as they're heading into the teeth of their schedule. I think there's another level that they can get to, and I'm kind of excited to see what that looks like.
Hey, what does it look like? Nebraska rolls into Bloomington a week from tomorrow, and their two corner spots are Tommy Hill, who is back, Sierra Wright, and then they have a slot corner in Marquise Buford, and then Gifford and Singleton are all on the field at the same time. What does that look like?
I mean, I think it allows them to match up a little bit better with teams like Indiana, Ohio State, USC, who want to move the ball through the air. I would like to see what Marquise Buford looks like as your nickelback, and then you have Wright and Hill as your two outside corners. Hill's status is going to be fascinating because not only does he need to get back, he has to show that he can play in the run of speed of a game. He has to show that he can handle a bunch of snaps and to be able to run constantly and turn and move on that foot. That's not an easy injury, and that's one that can linger. And so what you can get out of him, hopefully out of the bye week, is the guy moving forward. But more than that, you need him for the next 6 weeks, not just the Indiana game.
Mike, I want to talk to you about a guy who we haven't seen a lot of this season, but came into this year. I think we were expecting big things out of him, but then we hear he's going to have the red shirt, Malachi Coleman. So two questions here. With Malachi, do you expect to see him, down the stretch? Do you think he could be in play to make some plays for this team as they take on their toughest part of the schedule? And secondly, is there any doubt, you think, in the future of him with the program after taking a red shirt this year, kind of unexpectedly doing so after playing last year as a freshman?
Well, he did get on the field a little bit against Rutgers. So it's not like he's completely disappeared. It's not like he's getting on a flight to San Francisco. So he's a guy that I don't know what to do with Malachi Coleman.
Yeah.
I'm a little surprised that the red shirt is happening. I think he's a guy that can be a playmaker for you. But as we saw with someone that I was really high on in the summer, and it just really hasn't looked how I thought it was going to. And this isn't to discredit Jalen Lloyd by any means. I mean, he's out there. It's just the plays haven't resulted in quite what everybody wants, but it doesn't mean that they aren't going to keep trying it. Sometimes the progress isn't exactly as you think. I thought Jalen Lloyd was primed to take a big jump for Nebraska in 2024, and that hasn't happened. Malachi Coleman could make a big jump, but it could be in 2025.
Yeah.
Jalen Lloyd could make a big jump, and it could be in 2025. So I'm not ready to write anybody off yet. I think Malachi, if he continues to show up at practice and work and play as hard as I know he's able to, and continue to try to grow and become a better wide receiver, he's only going to be a bigger asset for Nebraska. I mean, we talk about wanting Michael Terry and all of these different players to help out. You've got guys in the program that can get better. You got guys in the program that can develop. I mean, that's what Matt Rule is his hallmark is that he develops players. He gets them to the NFL. Malachi Coleman wants to play in the NFL. It starts with Malachi Coleman, doing everything he can do, and Nebraska doing everything it can do to make sure that he's the best version of himself. And so I think if you can start that process and it moves well, and there's no reason to believe that isn't happening right now. But if it continues to progress in that fashion, I think the sky's the limit for him. He's an incredibly talented player. And I don't know what exactly, if anything, is holding him back, but I hope to see it here. I would love to see it in the games he has remaining, and I hope to see it in 25 and beyond.
Hey, Scheafer, as always, we appreciate it. Welcome back. Have a good weekend. We'll talk to you next week ahead of Indiana.
All right, guys, take care, Matt. It was great talking to you again. Let's do this any forum you want. If you just want a random phone call, I'm happy to verbally spar with you whenever you would like.
There's a reason why you don't have my number, Scheafer. Great talking to you too.